So, okay, we are now recording. It is the Dani Cutler Show on KWSS 93.9 FM and KWSS.org. And for those of you listening on 93.9 right now, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm having a wonderful conversation. The very handsome gentleman here. I have got Jared Kolesar here from Jared and the Mill and also Wheelwright. So, hello, Jared.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I think this is the first time we've had like an actual interview.
I think so too. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done anything with your fine station of KWSS. Thank you so
I
much for having
know.
me.
Oh, no, my pleasure. My pleasure. And I'm so happy to be talking with you. Actually, in some ways, Zoom has made it easier to connect with artists because we're all just sitting around and, well, not sitting around, but you know what I mean. It's just been
Yeah.
easier.
I got you. I got you. That's
So
so
I'm
fun.
happy to have you here. This interview is happening a little after the fact when we're speaking. It's actually the day of your new single, Just Like You, dropping.
Yeah.
Amazing song, played it this morning. But those who'll be listening will get another little preview of it after our conversation. So yay!
Yahoo!
Well, let's talk. So 2020 was crazy for everybody with the
Oh yeah.
pandemic and everybody pivoting, as I say, and trying to figure things out. And it has been a big pivot right now, or just a turn of events for Jared and the Mill altogether. So, talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that. You put on Instagram a big thing about how everything has just sort of paused right now. So, explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So, there was a point towards the beginning. I think it was like in April. It was like one of the earlier months of the quarantine. Um, that me and the guy had a little get together in Josh's front yard. Josh is the drummer, um, and we had just got a new manager, and it was time for us to figure out what we wanted spiritually and like where we saw ourselves in 5 years, and push some goals for the band that like I could come to the manager with and be like, hey, this is like what we want out of our careers, because that's good stuff for a manager to know. Um, so we for a while we cut up. We talked about how we were handling, the pandemic and everything. And once we got to the meat of the conversation, it sounded like everyone's lives were like really starting to, um, what's a good word to put it? Thicken.
Mm-hmm.
People's story arcs were getting more and more based on their own individual lives versus the life of the band, which is to be expected. We're all getting older. We're starting to do adult shit stuff.
No, you're
Um,
good.
and it was a nice pleasant conversation in a good way. All like I think like get a gauge of the temperature of everyone, and a couple of the members had expressed like not wanting to tour that much anymore or at all. And one of the members, I guess he's announced it already. Josh and his wife Julia had a 2 weeks ago, just
Oh.
super exciting. But Josh told us that Julie's pregnant, and like all of these big changes were going on in his lives. And it was kind of like for me, it's really easy to let stress kind of guide my overall emotion. And
Mhm.
I spent a little while after being like I don't want to say panicking, but like when you build something for a decade, it's it's hard to watch it start to kind of like crumble
Mhm.
underneath you, or not crumble, but like your understanding of it is to be less realistic than what is truthfully going on. And so my anxiety and everything kind of like shut me down for a couple of days. But after taking some time to reflect, I made a conscious decision to not think about it too much, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Because it was the pandemic, and it was like, there's no reason to like nothing. We're not going on tour next week or anything. Like, let me just.
Well, and there was a lot going on just with the pandemic alone. So,
Yeah, seriously. It's kind of like let me take a step back. Let me figure out what's going on with my own life, and that's when I decided to like maybe the best way to go forward would be to like invite the guys to participate in the band. I always have, but not make it mandatory where it's like it's only it's only Jared and the Mill if the five members are there, which is like on contracts and everything. That's how
mhm.
it works. if someone books the band, they expect those 5 band members. So like, I'm a person who feels very comfortable always being on the road. I'm a road dog. I'm so destined to just constantly be traveling. Um, and so for me, I was like, well, why don't yeah, what if I was to like act on my own accord as a solo act, but like you guys are always there when not even when it's convenient for you, like when you're able to.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone liked the sound of that, and I got a really positive reaction from the guys because we're best friends. We always have been. That was kind of like, it was so funny because that was kind of our gig as a band. It was like, we're the 5 best friends from Arizona out on this big adventure, and as much as that was like a part of our branding, it was also real. We'd
Yeah.
talk every day. We'd send jokes to each other, and we we're really really are the best friends ever.
Yeah.
So it was really well received as an idea, and I started to kind of go to work on it. And the past year has really been me and the guys figuring out how it's going to work. Me and Michael have been making, we've been doing like photo shoots and video stuff, and he's a really great creative director. He just did like all of Sydney Sprague's stuff.
Yeah.
He did like a really good job with it. He's insanely talented, so to have him on my side working with me on that, and like demoing out song Chuck and working on like songs organizations and like their structure and their arrangements with Josh has been like it's really cool.
Yeah.
We've really like doing what we always have, and in this new way that like I'm kind of the brain forward person in the band that's like, I guess I'm the art now, so like they're all there to support me, which is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
to have your best friends go from peers who are like in this band with you and have like, we want to now support you and your vision, is the most amazing thing in the world. I don't know how so lucky to have these guys in my life, but they're
Well,
there.
that's a true testament to your friendship and everything that I feel like a band should be. I mean, as things change, you're able to figure it out together and work on it together, band marriage, isn't it just like that,
Exactly. The wife
Yeah.
takes the wives take the back seats when it comes to bands, unfortunately.
Well, that has its good and bad moments, I think, but but still, it's like, you guys are trying to figure it out together, and if it's good, it could have gone a different direction, but you all seem to like, you just want to make each other better, and make sure
Yeah,
everybody's happy, and it just seemed like a natural progression the way you describe it.
totally.
Yeah.
It's been a spiritual journey for me, but I'm really happy about it.
Yeah. Well, and then, you go from that, and now you've always used the handle Wheelwright, if I'm not mistaken, for your
Yeah, for
personal
the
stuff.
solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
tell me
Wheelwright.
about how that began. Yeah, how that progressed.
So Wheelwright is what my last name means. It means Kolesar is my last name, and it means wheelwright.
Okay.
One who makes wheels. So that's kind of where I got it, and I've always been drawn to that name, and that's why like when I dinky little solo acoustic stuff around town, I would use that name just because I thought it was cool. But I don't know, it always kind of felt right to me. So to take this next step and just make it wheelwright, to me was kind of like this. All right, let's turn the page and see what comes next in the story of Jared in the Mill and fuse it with the story of Wheelwright, and let's see what happens.
Nice, nice. So spiritual journey, but how has it been? I mean, did you start to create again from scratch, or is this stuff that you had just been always writing and always putting together?
Um, a little bit of each, to be honest. The song that we just released, "Just Like You," it was actually written with Larry and Mike and a gal named Lauren Pritchard in Nashville before the idea of Wheelwright kind of came around. But we are just fooling around, and we recorded it, and with a guy named Mike Pepe, and it was it really transitioned easily. I think everyone kind of felt that like it was going to be this next step for us, and no one really knew what it was going to look like. But we had the song written pre-Wheelwright, but the song was finished once we had made the decision to do the Wheelwright thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Uh, I have songs that I've written since then that have a little bit more of like this headspace that I'm trying to occupy. But there's also songs that I've had written in my back pocket that just really didn't make it to the band for 5 years. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an amalgamation of all three.
Yeah. You're just kind of sounds like you're just kind of going with the flow, however it grabs you. Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah. So what's next? So you have this single out and there's a video with it, correct? Or
There
will
is
there be?
there's not like a music video,
Yeah.
but we've been working on performance videos, like live performance videos that that we try to like really create intentionally. Um, when you think of live performance videos, a lot of times you imagine like someone in their bedroom, like just kind of like banging an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Um, but we've been going to really cool, engaging places around Phoenix and around Arizona, and making like really to the best of our ability, making high quality produced videos with really cool camera angles and um, we get a really solid track if it's guitar sent by voice, and Chuck mixes it and masters it and like make it sound um, really like high end, and like
Mhm.
we've been trying to release video as beautiful as possible, and so we have one of those for this. So it's kind of like a cool acousticy version of a music video per se.
Nice.
We've been trying
Wonderful.
to channel everything and recording songs because there's not a wealth budgets to on music videos and that kind of stuff.
Right.
We
And
need songs.
well, and there's still a lot of spaces that are not quite open to full capacity yet for recording anyways. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I was talking with someone today and saying that they went into Guitar Center because they were looking for some home studio equipment and most of their stuff was sold out because that's what everybody is doing now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been when everything was starting to get going and I started really streaming, like I would the live streams. Everyone was like bailing tour right now. Everyone's doing stuff at home now. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh
yeah.
no! It took me months to get my stuff.
I know. How do you think it's going to go? Like looking ahead at 2021, I mean, the pandemic as a whole, things are starting to come down. People are getting vaccinated. What do you see for live music and even for yourself as this year goes on?
Well, it's such a hard thing. I
I
believe
know
very
it's not
strong.
a simple question, right?
Yeah, yeah. I believe very strongly. We've kind of avoided playing and doing anything live like the plague. We played one of those shows really early on, but I don't know. It's not something that I'm like banking on right now. Um, we do have a tour in the works for if vaccination schedule is like on if it's going according to plan and people who want the vaccine have access to it and like we can start to really have a functioning society again, then that's
Yeah.
what we'll go on the road in October. But until then, I mean, we've talked with people around town about doing like good socially distanced mask shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's tough because obviously we have to find ways to function as a legal force, and I have to figure out how to make my artistic journey work. But we want to do it safely. So
Of
I don't know.
course.
It's kind of like there's no set standard of anything. It's like we're like every single instance is different and unique, and we have to gauge.
I know.
Uh,
It's really turned into a one day at one moment at a time thing. And everything
yeah,
has an asterisk on it because it could just
yeah,
change in any moment. We've all sort of gotten into that what's going to happen today mode.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
wild.
Well, the single is streaming everywhere you can stream now. And
Yeah,
it's just Wheelwright everywhere.
we are everywhere. Um,
Excellent.
yeah, we got Wheel Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify, and on Twitter it's Wheelwright PHX like Phoenix. Um, Same with yeah. I mean, I think that's it.
Nice.
We have a web. It's Wheelwright phx.com.
Excellent. All
So
right. Well, Jared, I'm so glad that you took some time to
yeah,
chat with me. And I can't wait for live music again and, getting out there. And I know, seriously. So, and now the radio listeners are going to get to hear it just like you again. And if you missed any of this or want to hear more, you can head over to the KWSS Facebook page at KWSS Radio, because I'm going to drop the video there. So thank you again, Jared.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the song.